The stadium fell silent. Not the respectful silence of a tennis crowd awaiting a serve, but the hollow silence of heartbreak. The silence of thousands of empty seats where just days before, a sea of Philippine flags had waved proudly. The silence of a tournament that had lost its beating heart. When Alex Eala walked off the court after her defeat to Belinda Bencic, she didn't just take a racket with her. She took the soul of the National Bank Open. The numbers told a devastating story. Approximately 3,100 tickets sold within 30 minutes of Eala's match being announced. A frenzy that tournament director Karl Hale called unprecedented for a player ranked outside the top 5. A sold-out crowd of 10,000 packed Sobeys Stadium for her matches. A tournament that had found its voice, its energy, its reason for being. And then she was gone. Now, the tournament continues. But the question haunting every tennis fan is no longer who will win. It's something far more troubling. Without Alex Eala, will anyone even care? Without the roar of the Filipino crowd, without the flags, without the electric atmosphere that transformed a tennis tournament into a celebration of community and national pride, what is left? This is not just a story about tennis. This is a story about what happens when a phenomenon walks away. When a star that lit up the tournament fades. When the fans who turned a sport into a movement are left with nothing but empty seats and shattered dreams. Welcome to Rally Nova. Let's begin. To understand emptiness, we must first understand what Alex Eala brought to Toronto. It wasn't just tennis. It was a movement, a celebration, a cultural phenomenon that the National Bank Open had never seen before. The moment Eala's second-round match was announced, tickets vanished. In just 30 minutes, seats sold out, and an additional 3,100 tickets were snapped up for that session alone. Tournament director Karl Hale, a veteran of the tennis world, admitted he had never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect. The stadium has 10,077 seats, and the Filipino community had been calling in for months, asking when she would play. Sobeys Stadium transformed. Where once there were polite tennis spectators, now there was a sea of Philippine flags, banners, and fans draped in the country's colors. The 10,000-plus capacity crowd turned the tournament into what felt like a home match for the 21-year-old Filipina. The energy was so intense that Canadian play-by-play commentator Mark Petchey compared it to the atmosphere of a Grand Slam victory. But it wasn't just the numbers. It was the noise, the passion, the unapologetic celebration of a community finally seeing one of their own on the biggest stage. Diane Castillo, a traveling Filipino journalist and former tennis player, described it as a super, wild Filipino crowd. The loudest I have ever heard. It felt like it was in the Philippines. Incredible. And the community showed up in ways that went beyond the stadium. One vendor changed its chicken teriyaki to a Filipino chicken adobo rice bowl in Eala's honor, and they actually ran out of adobo within days. Fans designed custom T-shirts with slogans like Fight, Believe, Represent. Families attended their first ever professional tennis match just to see her. One supporter even showed up wearing a dinosaur costume wrapped in the Philippine flag, becoming an unexpected social media sensation. It's the first time I've ever heard halfway through the tournament, they ran out of food offering just because of a player, Hale said. For those in the GTA's large Filipino community, which numbered over 270,000 in the 2021 census, Eala-mania had been building for weeks. The scenes on center court rivaled some of the most electric moments in recent tournament history. Victoria Mboko's title last year in Montreal, Bianca Andreescu's championship run in 2019, and Denis Shapovalov's stunner over Rafael Nadal in 2017. The difference, of course, is those achievements all feature Canadians. This was a community showing up in big numbers to support potentially the biggest Filipino sports star since Manny Pacquiao. Eala herself understood the phenomenon. You can see I'm kind of like a drop in the ocean when it comes to Filipinos and their pride for their culture and where they come from, she explained. I do a lot to kind of represent my country, and I'm very proud of it. But you see, the stadium was full of people who do the same thing, right? So I guess that just shows you what kind of community we are and what kind of people we are and how supportive we are of each other. One thing was certain. Alex Eala had brought something to Toronto that no ranking or trophy could measure. And when she left, she took it all with her. When Alex Eala fell to Belinda Bencic in a round of 16, the tournament didn't just lose a player. It lost its identity. The match itself was a brutal display of fatigue meeting experience. Bencic, the 2021 Olympic champion, dismantled Eala's 6-4, 6-0 in just 73 minutes. The Filipina, who had been running on fumes after 7 consecutive matches across 2 weeks, simply couldn't keep up. Her tank was empty. Her body, having survived a painful ankle roll against Katie McNally in the previous round, had finally given out. The packed schedule appeared to take its toll against Bencic, with Eala looking fatigued as the match progressed. Bencic's dominance against left-handed opponents like Eala was also on full display as she improved her record against lefties to 10-0 since 2024. The final statistics told a brutal story. Bencic won 57 points to Eala's 36. She landed 64.4 of her first serves and won 72.4 of those points, while Eala managed only 46.4 of her first serve points. It was a one-sided contest that left fans stunned. But the defeat was more than a sporting loss. It was a turning point. The Eala party, which had turned Sobeys Stadium into a celebration of Filipino pride, came to an abrupt end. The flags that had draped the stands were folded. The chants that had echoed through the arena fell silent. The heart of the tournament had stopped beating. The atmosphere this whole week has been just incredible, Eala said after the match. It's hard to describe to other people kind of the feeling of being in that stadium full of course, the fans and all the love. I'm super grateful for the experiences that I've had here in Toronto. It's been an amazing debut. I'll carry these memories with me for a really long time. But the graciousness couldn't hide the reality. The tournament had lost its biggest draw. The fans who had transformed the event into a cultural celebration were left with empty seats and shattered hopes. The energy that had made the tournament must-see was gone. A debate erupted online about whether the tournament had lost its crowd after Eala's exit. Some users argued that fans should support the sport as a whole rather than only a particular athlete, while others defended Eala's supporters, saying it's the fans who are bringing in the money. The tournament without Eala felt hollow. The excitement had waned. The narrative had shifted from celebration to disappointment. And the question that haunted everyone was this tournament ever about tennis? Or was it all about Alex Eala? Despite the crushing defeat, Alex Eala left Toronto with her head held high. She made sure she did not leave center court without recognizing the supporters who carried her through another memorable week. At the end of the match, she gazed at the crowd, waved, picked up her bags, and walked toward the exit one last time. The fans gave her a roaring standing ovation, and Eala turned to march backwards and waved a few more times before finally walking off center court. I knew it was my last time, the last time that I was going to be out on that court for a while, Eala said after the match. After the loss, Eala delivered a heartfelt message in Tagalog to the Filipino fans who turned her Toronto debut into a homecoming more than 8,000 miles from Manila. Maraming salamat. Mga kababayan. Eala began before thanking her compatriots for supporting her in Toronto and during her title run in Washington. Thank you so much, my fellow Filipinos, for everything you did for me this week here in Toronto, in Washington, and for everything you always do for me, Eala said, translated into English. You're always supporting me, always praying for me, and always staying up late, so I'll continue working hard. Thank you. Her acknowledgement of fans staying awake carried particular meaning. Eala's North American matches often begin late at night or early in the morning in the Philippines, but that has not stopped supporters from following her rapid ascent. Eala also took a moment to reflect on the broader meaning of her Toronto run. She refused to frame the celebration of Filipino identity as something driven by her alone. I'm kind of just like a drop in the ocean, when it comes to Filipinos and their pride for their culture and where they come from, Eala said. I do a lot to kind of represent my country, and I'm very proud of it. But you see, the stadium was full of people who do the same thing, right? So, I guess that just shows you what kind of a community we are and what kind of people we are and how supportive we are of each other. The fans responded with a standing ovation as Eala walked off the court. They knew that this loss was just a temporary setback. They knew that the giant killer would be back. But they also knew that they had just witnessed something special, a moment they would carry with them forever. The empty feeling in Toronto is not just about one tournament. It is a sign of something much bigger. Alex Eala represents a shift in the sport, a move toward greater diversity and a new generation of fans. For years, tennis was dominated by European and American players. The sport was exclusive, traditional, and resistant to change. Eala has changed that. She has brought a new audience to tennis, one that is passionate, vocal, and deeply connected to her journey. As the CBC noted, Eala's popularity signals a shift in tennis that many have long called for: more diversity. The top-ranked players in the sport are concentrated in North America and Europe, while Asia has had few players break through the top ranks. The Philippines, a country of 100 million people, has never produced a tennis star before. Eala is changing that narrative. But that audience comes with expectations. They expect to see her play. They expect to see her win. And when she doesn't, they may not stay. The tennis establishment must adapt. It must embrace the energy of new fans. It must accommodate the cultural differences that come with a more diverse audience. It must find ways to sustain interest beyond the stars who attract the crowds. Because players like Eala are not just athletes, they are movements. And when the movement ends, the sport must find a way to carry on. Tournament director Karl Hale acknowledged the phenomenon, noting that we've never seen a player ranked outside the top 5 have this type of effect. The challenge for tennis is how to sustain that excitement beyond the presence of one player. The scenes in Toronto, the packed stadiums, the deafening chants, the sea of flags, were a manifestation of a community that had finally found a hero. And when she lost, the dream faded. The question now is whether tennis can build on that energy and create a lasting legacy. The Eala effect is real. It is a movement that has transformed tennis in ways that no one anticipated. Filipino fans are bringing a new energy to the sport, one that is passionate, vocal, and deeply connected to their culture. As one community leader said, right now, Alex is our Bayani, which basically means our national hero. What you're all witnessing is what we have as the Filipino community. The loss in Toronto was a bitter pill. But for Alex Eala, it is not the end. It is an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to come back stronger. Eala's summer was nothing short of spectacular. She won her first WTA title in Washington, defeating a gauntlet of Grand Slam champions, including world number 3 Jessica Pegula. She reached the 4th round of Wimbledon. She climbed to a career-high world number 20, and she became the biggest draw in women's tennis. But that success came at a great cost. Now, Eala plans to take 1 or 2 days away from tennis before traveling to Cincinnati. I definitely will take maybe 2 days off, a day or 2. I do have to travel to Cincinnati. I need to get a haircut. I haven't gotten a haircut in a while. My nails are grown out. So, yeah, I'll do a couple things just to get my mind off tennis, Eala said during her post-match press conference. The short break will also give Eala an opportunity to recover from the minor injury scare during her 3rd round win over McNally, when she tweaked her right ankle in the 2nd set. Yeah, I will reunite maybe with some friends in Cincinnati and just try to have fun, she said. I'll be back on court snaps fingers like that, so I got to enjoy what I have. I got to enjoy the time that I have that I'm not on court. Despite the loss, Eala's message to the fans who pray, stay awake, and follow her around the world was clear. She intends to keep working. I'm super happy with the run that I've had, she said. I'm going to try to recover and come back out hot. Eala also shared the lessons she's taking from Toronto. I'm taking the lessons that I've had from these 2 weeks and hopefully implement them even more and in a better way in Cincinnati and New York. She is heading to the Cincinnati Open, which runs from August 13th to 23, followed by the U.S. Open. She will have a chance to recover, to learn from the Bencic defeat, and to continue her remarkable rise. The backlash against the tournament without Eala is a testament to her impact. She didn't just play tennis, she transformed it. And whether the tournament thrives or fails without her, her legacy is already secure.